You are now tuned into Trading Materials for Peace of Mind podcast, hosted by me, Joseph Cooper. And today, this is the counterculture episode, and I am going to talk about doing everything that is against the culture, because the culture right now is it's bad. It's talking about it's the advocation and the promotion of drugs. It's the advocation and the promotion of gangs. It's the promotion of violence. It's the promotion of sexual promiscuity. And so what I'm going to talk about today in this episode is that we need to start denouncing these things, especially in not only just the times that we're in, but also because those things are so detrimental to Black culture. They're so detrimental to Latino culture. And of course, I said this in previous episodes, is that I am a biracial man. I am I'm African American. I'm also Mexican American. And I do take that very seriously. And with that being said, I see the things that are promoted to my community from, different things, whether it be media, whether it be society. And the things that are promoted to my communities are, like I said, they're 100% detrimental. They are not... it's not to enlighten. It's not anyone to advance. It's not anyone to ascend. It's only these things that are promoted to us are only meant for oppression. They're only meant to oppress us, which oppression is keeping something down and making sure that it never rises up. And so what you need to do is we need to fight against these things that are being promoted to us. We need to have people that look like us denouncing these things, because we need to advocate and we need to promote positivity. We need to promote peace, because if you're not promoting peace, then you're promoting violence. And we need to make sure that we are promoting things that are going to elevate our culture, elevate our people, elevate our peers, elevate our friends, elevate our family. And we need to rise up against all the negativity and the hate that is being disseminated throughout the world, and not just for my culture, but just for everyone in general, because like I said, there is so much of violence, and there's so much things and hatred and negativity that is pushed upon people, and we need to find a way to overcome that, and we need to combat that, and we need to make sure that we have everyone on board. And because if we don't fight against this, then all this hate and this negativity will continue to prevail. And I see it prevailing every day. I see it on the news. I hear it in music, and I just see all these different things everywhere, how we are being programmed to hate each other. We're being programmed to dislike each other, disrespect each other, not trust each other, instead of trying to unify with each other. I feel like the things that are happening in Black culture and Latino culture is like I said, is to keep us down. It's because there's so much hatred that is being taught to us as far as self-hate. And when I talk about self-hate, is that we are being taught to hate the person that we see in the mirror. We are being taught to hate the person that looks like us, that talks like us, that walks like us. And that program is, like I said, it is being successful because I see the way how Latino people treat other Latino people. I see the way Black people treat other Black people is coming from a place of self-hate, and that self-hate can turn into hating each other. And then, like I said, it's just very bad all the way around. And we need to find ways on how we just need to stop it. We need to overcome it, because if we don't, then it's going to lead to our demise. It's going to lead to how are we ever going to overcome? Because we're losing lives out here. We're losing each other, and we need to start building each other up, and we got to start unifying out here, because the things that are tearing us apart, like I talked about earlier, if it's violence, is gangs, is drugs, is self-hate, and we need to just overcome all of this, and we need to start denouncing these things ASAP and immediately. immediately, and we need to call out any type of promotion that we see. When we see the promotion of drug use, we need to step up, and we need to say, hey, that's not right. I don't care if it's a celebrity promoting drug use. I don't care if it's your best friend or your brother. We need to say, that ain't cool. It's never been cool, and it never be cool. When has drug abuse and drug addiction and drug use ever been cool? It's never been cool. But what they do is that they twist it and they make you think it's cool so you can get hooked on drugs. So now that you're hooked on drugs, now your brain isn't even making decisions anymore. It's the drugs making the decisions. And when drugs are making the decisions, it's going to lead to a whole lot of detrimental things. It's going to lead to violence. It's going to lead to depression. Maybe it's not 100% just violence. Maybe what about what the drugs do to our bodies, what it's doing to our brain? And that is something I am very focused on, because when I see drug use and when I see what drug use has done to my peers, I see what drug use has done to people in my family, and what it does, it just takes that person away. It takes that person away from themselves, and it takes that person away from you. And that's the thing, like when drug addiction comes into play, that's another form of death. And I don't think people understand that, because it takes you away from the people that you love, and it changes people, and it changes that person into another person. And sometimes it changes them into a monster. It changes them into a shell of their former selves. And so that's why we need to stand up against anybody talking about promoting drugs, because the society is going to tell you this stuff is cool, and this stuff has never been cool. Ever. Doing drugs is not cool, period. And I'll stand on that. And I will die on that hill, because look what drugs has done to our community. It has it's wiping us out. Is preventing us from advancing. All it does is causing depression. It's causing violence. It's causing us to kill each other. It's putting us in prison. So why would I ever want to promote any type of drug use, promotion of drug selling? I am totally 100% against that. I am anti-drugs. I am anti-gang, period. I am anti-gangs because I see what gangs have done to my community. I see what gangs have done to black people. I see what gangs have done to Latino people. And I am 100% anti-gang, period. Because I don't stand for anything that any gang represents. Gangs do not represent anything positive in our community. Ever. They never have, and they never will. Because what is a gang? Anyway, it's a group of people that harms other groups of people. So why would I ever want to promote something like that? I am denouncing that. I am denouncing that for everybody. If you're in a gang, I'm not denouncing you. What I am denouncing is that gang, and I want you to get out of that gang. I don't want gangs around me. I don't want gangs around my children. I don't want gangs in my neighborhood. I'm 100% anti-gang. We need to get rid of gangs, period. They're not doing anything for the community. They're not uplifting our community. They are oppressing our community. They're keeping our communities down, and they are preventing us from ever advancing. They're preventing enlightenment. They are preventing ascension. And anything that prevents any of those things, I am anti that. And I've talked about it before in previous episodes. I am anti-violence. There is nothing good about violence. There's nothing cool about violence. There's absolutely nothing cool about harming your brother. There's nothing cool about harming your neighbor. There's nothing cool about saying that you have an enemy and you need to go harm that enemy. None of that stuff is cool, period. It's never been cool, and it will never be cool. And we need to talk about this at length, because there's not enough people denouncing these things. And that's the stuff that really scares me, is because there's so many things that go that get said without any type of countering. We need to combat these things. We cannot let people and just do things freely without any type of resistance, if you will. So, because this whole thing about, what's macho and what's tough and what's real and what's street, all of those things, that is what kept our community absolutely down. That's what puts our people in prison. That's what puts our people in the grave. That's what changes our minds with the drugs, is that there's so many of these things going on, but none of it is being denounced. And like I said, I'm gonna stand up on it, and I'm gonna say we need to stop doing these things. We need to stop harming each other. We need to stop doing drugs, which is harming our bodies. We need to stop the gangs. We need to stop the violence, and we need to go back to peace. We need to go back to loving each other. We need to go back to respecting each other. We need to go back to loving thy neighbor, and we need to go back to respecting everyone as a person, respecting them as a man. And when I say man, I mean human. I mean human. Respecting a person just because they are a person. Loving a person just because they are a person. And this is the stuff that this is that counterculture that I'm referring to, because culture and society is not going to tell you the right thing to do. That's why I talk about Jesus. Jesus is counterculture. I align with Jesus. I stand with Jesus. I stand with everything that Jesus is everything that he preached while he was here on this earth. I stand with Jesus, not as only my Lord and Savior, but also as the Son of God, because all this stuff that, sometimes we talk about in the world, a lot of this stuff is brand new. There was nothing new under the sun. All the stuff that's going on today, it was going on all the way back in biblical times. Like I said, and we got to go back to loving each other. We got to go back to respecting each other. And I just had a conversation with my friend a few days ago, and we need to stop the hate. We need to stop the racism. We need to stop the racism, because the racism is right there as insanity. To think about that a person is somehow better than another person because of their color of their skin. That is insanity. Or to think that a person is less than another person because of the color of their skin, when God made us all. God made us, we bleed and we breathe. We're humans. We are all the same. And what those things that they do is that they use race as a tool for division. They use that as a way to divide and conquer, because they don't want to see peace between us. They don't want to see love between us, because they'd rather see infighting. They'd rather just keep us fighting, because that is the easiest way to control the masses, is to keep the masses fighting. So that way anybody that's in control can stay in control. But the thing about it is that I'm confused about who are the people that is in control that wants to see us fail, that wants to see us die? Why isn't there anyone out there that wants to see us live, that wants to see us prosper, that wants to see us proceed and be successful in life? That's what we need. That's what we need to start checking. We need to check the people that is allowing this hate to be just spewed upon our community. Those are the people we need to start looking at and see what's going on. And if they don't align with what we're trying to do, then we need to separate ourselves from them. Like I said, I'm on the track with Jesus. I'm on the track with peace. I am on the track with unity. I am not with division. I am not trying to be divided from my fellow brothers and my fellow sisters and my fellow humans. Why would I want to do such a thing? Why would we should do such a thing? We shouldn't. We need to be in peace. We need to be in harmony. We need to be uplifting each other, because this is how uplifting works. When you take one person and they uplift another person, now we have two people that have been lifted. And those two people can now help another two people and get them lifted. So now you got four people that are lifted. So now you take those four people and you lift another four people. And now you have 8 people that are lifted. And then you have 8 people that are lifted that help another 8 people that are lifted. And now you got 16 people lifted. And this thing, it just keeps growing exponentially. That's what we need to do. We need to take the time to start helping each other. We need to take the time to start lifting each other up. When we see somebody on the ground, we just can't step over them and say it's not my problem. And we definitely don't kick them while they're down. Why don't we put our hand down and say, hey, let me pick you back up? That's what we need to do, because that is what's missing, especially in the Black community. That is what's missing, especially in the Latino community, is that we're not picking each other up. We're too busy kicking each other while we're down. We're too busy pushing people down, when we got to start lifting each other up, because that's where the strength is. The strength comes through the unification. The strength comes from, we want to see our people proceed. We want to see them prosper. We want to see them ascend. Then we got to start lifting each other up. We got to start loving each other. We got to go back to respecting each other. That's how, that is what's missing, especially in our communities, is that we got to get back on track out here. Because it always wasn't like this. The way things are moving right now in 2024, it wasn't always like this. There was a time when our communities was definitely all about solidarity. But at some point, those things change. And I see a lot of that has changed, especially through broken families. I see that that has changed through poverty. That has changed through gangs. It's changed through violence. It's changed through imprisonment. It's changed through the lack of higher learning or lack of education. And once those things started increasing, that's when our solidarity started to decrease. It is because those other factors, which I talk about, quote unquote culture, quote unquote society, when those things started rearing its ugly head, and that's when the love started to decrease and the hate started to increase. So we got to go back, like I said, we got to go back to start focusing on family. We got to go back to start focusing on peace. We got to go back to focusing on the enlightenment. We got to go back to focusing on the education. And like I said, we need to start being there for our friends. We need to start being family. Men need to be husbands. Men need to be fathers. Women need to be wives. Women need to be mothers to their children. Because once we start getting strong again and we start getting solid again, no one's ever going to be able to stop us. No one's ever going to be able to oppress us ever again. And I think that's what there's fear in that, because society is not accustomed to black and brown people prospering, all over the nation, all over this country. And that's what we need. We need to make that the norm. We need to make that the usual, if you will. We need to see like I said, the black people prospering, the brown people prospering. And that's something I am 100% dedicated on. That's what I'm focused on. And that's what like I said, I'm willing to die on that hill. And I'm willing to make sure that all of my family, my friends, my peers, and my communities, somehow that we do rise above. We rise above the hate. We rise above the crime. We rise above imprisonment. We rise above gangs. We rise above anything that, like I said, that is detrimental to our communities. And that's what I'm riding with Jesus on this one. Because the thing about when you follow Jesus, you don't follow the world. Because the world sometimes that the world is meant to push you down. It's meant to harm you. But when you ride with Jesus and you follow him, he's going to make sure that he's going to lift up anyone that believes in him. Because like I said, we are children of God. God made us in his image. So just because of that, I am always going to look to the heavens and make sure that I'm following that path. And we all need to follow that path. And I know I talked in this episode, I was more focused on my black and brown communities, but I'm talking about every single community, every single American. And even if you're not American, everybody all over the world, what if we just start unifying with each other? What if we start focusing on the peace? We got to start increasing the peace. And we got to stop the hate. We got to stop this self-hate. We got to stop these things that we got to stop harming each other. We got to start loving each other. We got to start loving our bodies. We got to protect each other. We have to, and like I said, that is the stuff that society is not used to that. And if they are not used to that, so what? We are going to change the world. All of us together, every listener, everybody, we are going to change the way the world looks at us. We are going to change the way anyone ever thinks about us, perceives us, and we are going to go out there and we are going to make a change. We're going to make a difference. But we got to start with each other. We got to start loving each other. We got to start watching what we put into our bodies. We can't put these drugs into our bodies. We got to start watching the foods that we eat. We got to start watching the things that we drink. Like I said, I am totally against drugs and alcohol. Drugs and alcohol, it's not cool. I see what it has done to my family. Drugs and alcohol put my dad in the grave at 56 years old. And these are the things that it just, bad food and this drugs and this alcohol is leading us to an early grave. It's taking us, like I said, it takes the people that we love, it takes them away from us. and then we indulge in these things, and now we are taken away from the people that love us. And so this is the stuff that we got to start honing in on. We got to start focusing in on. And like I said, what I'm talking about is change. Period. We got to do a 180 on this. And I don't care what anybody says is popular. I don't care what anybody says is cool. We are going to change these things. We're going to change it all over the world. We're going to change it in our communities. We're going to change it in our lives. And we're going to change everything that's been going on that's been hurting us. So if something out there has been hurting us, if there's people out there that's been promoting hate, they promoting hurt, like I said, we are going to start going against all of that. Though I'm tired of making those people famous. I'm tired of making those people rich, and I'm tired of making these people popular. So we need to go ahead and we need to strike against that. We are going to counter that. We're going to fight against that. We're going to lift each other up. We're going to start loving each other. We're going to start loving our bodies. We're going to start loving ourselves. When we look in the mirror, we are going to see love. And once we start seeing love in that mirror, it's going to change everything. It's going to change the way we move. It's going to change the way we speak. It's going to change everything. Like I said, we're about to change. We're about to put a 180 on all this stuff out here. We're going to change all of this. And I'm ready to die over this. I'm willing to die on that hill. I'm ready. Whatever I got to do to see my people rise, to see all of us succeed, to see all of us elevate, I am ready to do it. And I truly, truly, truly mean that. Because I'm tired of what I'm seeing out here. I'm tired of when I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is read the news and I see homicides that had just taken place the night before. And that's all I see. I see homicides. I see how drugs are just taking away people that we love. And I see and if it's not the drug use, then it's the drug selling. And what that does, we're over here serving death to our own people. And then it's getting people locked up in prison for years and years and years because of this so-called thing called drugs. And like I said, we need to stop the hate, stop the drugs. We are going to promote love. We are going to promote peace. And like I said, I'm out here promoting Jesus. I'm out here promoting love. And that's what we need to do. And I hope all my listeners are on board, because I won't stop until all of us are on top. All of us. Not one of us, not some of us, not just a few of us, all of us. Because all of us can be on top. All we need to do is change our mindset, change what we do, change who we are, and we can get everybody on board. And like I said, we got to start increasing the peace. And I'll just leave it at that. I do want to end it by saying I do have a few things. Is that I do have a new Instagram page. The Instagram is called Trading Materials for Peace of Mind. Of course, that's my Instagram handle. Please give me a follow. If you want to contact me on there, you can always shoot me a DM. If you ever want to just email me, you could always email me at jthomasminimalist@gmail.com. I am definitely looking for any type of reviews or criticism or any type of critiquing that you have on the podcast episodes. I'm also looking for new topics to talk about on these podcast episodes. So thank you. Please give me a follow. And with that being said, love, peace, God bless, and good night.